Okay, I think we'll start at this week at 20. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Radha. Let's start.
A very good morning to everyone. A very happy and a prosperous Diwali. Hope everyone had a happy and safe one too. This month, November, was full of festivals, festivities, and events. Like it started with Ratri, Dussehra, Diwali, Bhai Dooj, and then our own members had our own celebration theme at Frana Ma'am's Joyland School. And today evening also, so this month was full of meeting people, having lots of sweets, and spending quality time with our near and loved ones. Now, since we celebrated Diwali just this week only, so let me just speak about Diwali. Now, Diwali is a festival of lights, and historically, it is celebrated to mark the return of Lord Rama with Sita and Lakshman to Ayodhya after an exile of 14 years. So hence, to commemorate this, people celebrate Diwali, and it is also of light over darkness and good. Diwali, how is the that what means chapter blessing to the sparkling and the neat and clean things. And who doesn't need action? Okay, so the whole idea is that. And then making sweet and buying presents and gifts for our relatives and friends. And on Diwali day, after doing the Lakshmi Puja, we dress ourselves in our traditional outfit and meet our now, interesting fact about Diwali. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, that in northern India, it is very prevalent on Festival of Lights. Adan Sham gambling is illegal in a country, instantly finds a place traditionally. Let me invite you all to our meeting number 479 of Mangalore Toastmasters Club. So before we start off the meeting, we have certain ground rules which has to be followed. And put your mobile phone on silent or vibrating mode. Keep yourself mute while not speaking. Do not talk about sex, religion, or politics. And I request all the speakers to be ready to keep their videos and audios on when in line.
Thank you, Radha.
Hello?
Yes, Winston.
You can hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Because I couldn't hear Radha very clear. I was wondering whether it's my computer mistake.
No, I think her audio was not very clear. It was going off and on, Radha, but it's okay. It's all right.
Okay. It's okay, but that's why I wanted to check.
No, the audio. Can you hear me clearly, Winston?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, fine. So good morning, Mangalore Club. And let me tell you a story today. Once upon a time, two travelers met at a dharamshala. They had arrived from different places, stopped to rest, and decided to continue their journey together. As it was almost evening and they had to leave the dharamshala, one of the travelers bought a lamp to light the way. The other decided not to, since they were traveling together. So they continued their journey together for quite a while, until the traveler with the lamp decided to take a turn in the road. The traveler without the lamp was shocked. Now he had no lamp to light his path, and it was too far for him to walk back to the dharamshala. What was he going to do? Has this ever happened to you? At times, We become so dependent on the lamplight that we get from other people, our parents, our teachers, our families, our friends, our co-workers, that we forget that we too need to have our own lamp and our own light within so that we can find our own path. Deepavali, the festival of light, is a reminder that each of us have our own light shining within us, and that is what makes us unique. With that thought, let us begin the meeting with a prayer by Toastmaster Sharmila. Over to you, Sharmila.
Thank you, Sunita. Good morning. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. May the light of knowledge remove the darkness of ignorance. God, guide us towards light. Help us light the lamp of wisdom. Guide us, God, to light the lamp of happiness. Help us light the lamp of kindness. Guide us, O God, to celebrate the festival in true sense by spreading joy and light.
Hello.
Help us to show love to others. Help us, most importantly, light our own path. Help us to show love to others. May the divine light of Diwali shine with peace, prosperity, happiness, and good health in all our lives. Amen. Over to you, Sunita.
Thank you, Sharmila, for that very meaningful prayer. Right. Do we have any felicitations from the members? Would anyone like to share? Please unmute, put on your video and go ahead.
Yes, Sunita.
Yeah, Della, go ahead.
Last Sunday, we shared it in the group as well, but last Sunday, I, along with Praveen, went ahead with that walkathon, Pink October walkathon, where we walked for a cause, and that was breast cancer. It was my first walkathon ever. Though it was mentioned that it was 5 kilometers, it was only 3 kilometers, but completely worth it with the amount of Zumba and workout we had after the walkathon. But it was something worthwhile, and I've gotten a certificate and a medal, which is something that I will cherish for a very long time.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Anyone else would like to share? May I request everyone to switch on their videos? Because when we are recording and we're in gallery view, we see only a black screen. Once the meeting starts, you can sort of switch off your videos. Please switch on your videos so everyone can be seen. Anybody else would like to share felicitation? Any happy news that happened during Diwali? No? Everyone is busy celebrating. So everyone was enjoying felicitations. Right, okay. Sure. All right, we'll go ahead. We were to welcome 3 guests today, but I think they have not joined. So we will welcome Ranjan, not as a guest anymore, but he has joined Mangalore Toastmasters. So welcome, Ranjan. Deepavali is a very auspicious occasion because you're joining us, and we're very happy to have you as a member today. Right. So over to the Toastmaster today without any delay. Ever since he became a distinguished Toastmaster at the age of 80, Charter member Winston Dsouza has been the toast of our town and District 121. He has endeared himself to all of us with his sense of humor, his friendly nature, and his willingness to take up any challenge. His diverse interests include organizing events for senior citizens, taking up opportunities for social service, playing golf, and entertaining his fellow Toastmasters with his special selection of jokes. I won't tell you what kind. At Mangalore Club, he's not a celebrity or an authority, but he is everyone's friend, a friend to young and old. Toastmasters, please welcome the one and only, always young at heart, TMOD DTM Winston Dsouza. Over to you, Winston. Unmute Winston, please.
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. I'm glad that I'm the Toastmaster of the day again. It's a long time since I've taken up this role. Now we are celebrating Deepavali all over in Mangalore, in India and many other countries. It is the major festival of Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, and also Buddhists. It symbolizes victory of light over darkness, good over evil, and knowledge over ignorance. Festival is widely associated with goddess Lakshmi as a sign of prosperity. It is also celebrated as a return of Rama to the kingdom of Ayodhya with his wife Sita and his brother Lakshman after defeating Ravana in Lanka and after serving 14 years of exile. Diwali was first celebrated in White House by George W. Bush in 2003. And in 2009, Barack Obama also participated in the Diwali celebration in the White House. So it is celebrated all over the world. So let's celebrate Diwali with a small song in Tulu. Hope all of you know Tulu. Matalaga Tulu barpurnate. Onji yelle onji pada kenga. I request on Yvonil to start the song. Yvonil? The song is about Deepavali.
Is it audible? One second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just want to confirm if it's audible.
Yes, it is audible.
It's audible, Yvonil.
Yes. And dance wherever you are sitting.
Joly, Joly, pal pal parangoli, dum 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 ke nunde, auve namma tiriyoli, baigene Diwali. Wa Joly, pal pal parangoli, dum 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 ke nunde, auve namma tiriyoli. नलिपु बाल नलपुला गड़द पर बनंकला दीवाली पुरल तुला ऊरोर में बुलपुला
नलिपु बाल नलपुला गड़द पर बनंकला दीवाली पुरल तुला ऊरोर में बुलपुला
हो పర్బ బన్నగా బెల్ల బజిల్ మొరెపుగా కివిలోను పొత్త ఉండు పటాకిని రాపగా
ఈ పర్బ బన్నగా బెల్ల బజిల్ మొరెపుగా కివిలోను పొత్త ఉండు పటాకిని రాపగా
ಊರು ಪುರ ಉಲ್ಲಾಸ ದಿವಾಲಿದ ಸಂತೋಷ ಮಾತೆರ್ನಲ ಇಲ್ಲಡಿ ನೀ ರೊಟ್ಟಿ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಪಾಯಿಸ
ಊರು ಪುರ ಉಲ್ಲಾಸ ದಿವಾಲಿದ ಸಂತೋಷ ಮಾತೆರ್ನಲ ಇಲ್ಲಡಿ ನೀ ರೊಟ್ಟಿ ಗಟ್ಟಿ Jolly paisa.
Wajali wajali. Alpal parangoli. Dum 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 kenude avena madiriyoli. Baidele Diwali.
Okay, thank you very much, Yvonil. Hope you enjoyed the song. And same type of celebration will continue in your own houses. Okay, now to start the meeting, I will start with the general evaluator, role takers. General evaluator is Toastmaster Neil. Neil, can you please introduce your tag team?
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Winston. So I will be today's general evaluator. I will be evaluating the meeting. I will be also taking down notes of how the meeting went on as a whole, and also as to how things can be improved to make the meetings better. Right. So I will be working with my tag team today to evaluate different parts of speech in the speeches. I would like the timer for today, Lizelle, to give a brief explanation of the role of a timer.
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. As a timer, I will be timing the table topics and speakers and formal speeches and evaluation. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have taken using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denotes a specific time remaining. The table topic time would be within 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I would be raising a green card, and 1 minute 30 seconds, I would be raising a yellow card, and at the 2 minutes, I'll be raising the red card. Most of the other time till.
1 second, Lizelle. One second. Somebody has to mute, please. Please mute.
Yeah, Lizelle, you can continue.
Yeah, most of the speeches would be around 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I would be raising green, and 6 minutes, I would be raising yellow card, and 7 minutes, I would be raising red card. Yeah, thank you.
Neil, you need to unmute.
Sorry, I was on mute myself. Sorry. Yeah, thank you, Lizelle, for your explanation of the role. Next, I will be moving on to today's our counter, who is Yvonil. Yvonil, you can please introduce yourself and what the role will be.
Sure. Good morning, Toastmasters. The purpose of the R counter is to note the words and sounds that are used as a crutch or a pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen to the overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for the filler sounds, including and I will also note that when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as this means at the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster. Mute. Neil, you're on mute.
Again, I'm on mute. Oh, thanks, sir. So, yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Yvonil. The final member of the tag team is the grammarian. So, Princita is today's grammarian for the day. I would like her to introduce the role and also introduce today's word and phrase for the day.
Good morning, everyone. As the grammarian, my job is to pay close attention to all the speakers and keep track of improper and good language usage. It's also my job to introduce the word for the day, which is 1 minute. Okay. So as we speak about overcoming our or triumphing over our shortcomings this Deepavali, the word for the day is vanquish. So the definition is to overcome in either a battle or subdue someone completely, to defeat in conflict or contest, to gain mastery over. It could be anything. It could be an emotion, passion, or temptation. So examples are just they were vanquished in battle, or a more recent example would be in certain cases, scientists suspect that a person's immune system doesn't fully vanquish the virus, leaving a lingering infection. So I urge everyone to use the word for the day, and I'll give my report towards the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Princita. And I will try to use the word of the day by saying that I've vanquished my temptation to continue speaking while on mute. So I hope everybody has a good time today. Best of luck to all the speakers. Over to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Winston.
I think Toastmaster Winston has got locked out. I'm not mistaken. I don't see him on the screen. Yvonil, if you're there, can you just...
He's back. I think I admitted him now. He'll be there.
Let's just wait for him. Welcome
Okay.
back, Winston. Yes, yes. Welcome.
Sorry, my...
No problem, no problem. Can you switch on your video, Winston? So that
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you got the word of the day. Now I will call upon our first speaker, that is Fiona. Will you say no again? Fiona, will you say no again? But before that, your evaluator will read the objectives.
Seema, please switch on your video if you can. Seema, are you there?
Something is happening with my laptop. Okay. Now, can you see me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. The Fiona is the purpose of her project is for the member to apply his or her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. So this is the first speech that she is giving, which will introduce her plan and vision. And the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to the TMOD.
Okay, her title of her speech is Will You Say No Again? Title is Will You Say No Again? Over to Fiona.
Are you familiar with the 3-second rule? Not the one about picking food off the ground and putting it in your mouth if it has not been 3 seconds since it has touched the ground. That rule is stupid, no? It's not like the microorganisms will go, wait, 1, 2, 3, and then pounce on the food. I'm talking about Mum's 3-second rule. According to comedian Kenny Sebastian, all Indian mothers live by a golden timing rule. If your mother asks you to do something, you have to do it within 3 seconds. And if you don't do it within that time, she will do something unimaginable. She will do it herself. And after that, she will guilt trip you. At the end of which, you will feel like digging up a hole in the ground and burying yourself in it. But my mother is different. Occasionally, if at all, I ask her whether there is anything to be done, she will say no. After half an hour, you will find her grumbling. I have to do everything in this house. No one will help me out. Whom am I doing all this for? And so starts our argument. I always tell my mother to delegate work so that it is evenly distributed and gets completed on time. But my mother has one argument alone, which is, I shouldn't have to tell you what to do. You must look for work and do it. Which son or daughter on this planet will be self-motivated enough to do household work unless they live alone, in which case also you have to expect nothing short of a miracle. And then I realized, grammarian, please excuse my language, oh crap, why did I decide to become the coordinator of the club collaboration program? Our members are anything but self-motivated to take part in the speaker evaluator exchange role. And so I started my high performance leadership or HPL project. Good morning, dear members. My objective today is not to embarrass those who said no to the role exchange. Instead, it is to introduce the mission and plan I have put in place in order to execute my HPL project successfully. The Club Collaboration Program is an initiative from the Office of the Club Growth Director that promotes collaboration between two or more clubs. It helps club officers to learn and adopt best practices from other clubs, thereby enhancing the meeting quality, camaraderie among members of different clubs, and overall experiences of members from all the clubs involved. For Q2, October to December, the board has picked Kerala Toastmasters Club from Division H Area 2 for the program. My mission is to complete the monthly and quarterly requirements laid out by the Office of the CGD, which are: each club must send at least one speaker and one evaluator to the other club every month. This is called the speaker and the evaluator exchange. Both clubs must have one special joint meeting during the quarter with roles mutually decided by both the clubs. My Kerala Toastmasters counterpart, Toastmaster Gautam, shares the same woes as I do about not being able to get members to take up exchange roles. During our ongoing meeting on WhatsApp, we figured that while meeting timing may be a problem for some members, others simply don't want to speak at a different club. As when children don't listen, you complain to parents. When members don't listen, you seek the help of presidents, Toastmaster Sunita Pereira and Toastmaster Neelakantan PC. Together, the four of us constitute the Club Collaboration Program Guidance Committee. This project requires that I sketch out a plan which will help me achieve the aforementioned objectives. The role exchange would have been easily achievable if I had members who would queue in line waiting to be next and not letting anyone cut in, like how you do at billing counters. Now, because I don't want to listen to anyone saying, Fiona, you only know how to complain, why don't you try it out? I tested the waters. And here's what it felt like. In all honesty, I was confident when I logged into the meeting until I finished my first paragraph of the speech. After that, I don't know what happened. By the end of my speech, my hands were cold and I had sweat half a liter. That is how nervous I was. So why is the plan to motivate you all to go through what I did? Well, it makes for a good anecdote for your speeches, doesn't it? It also contributes to a unique experience, one which you will never get inside of your comfort zone, an experience which will etch in your memory. So instead of looking for motivation, why not live for the experience? There is no substitute for the live experience. Ray Vandal. Well, the next time, if I ask you to take up a role in the speaker evaluator role exchange, will you say no again? Back to TMOD.
Thank you, Fiona, for your nice speech. We will never say no when there is something given to us. Like Sunita asked me to be the Toastmaster of the day 2 days back, and I had to say, I didn't want to say no. Anyhow, it's a good speech. I call upon the second speaker, Praveen, Toastmaster Praveen.
Winston, 1 second, please. Just sorry to interrupt. I'm very glad to welcome Toastmaster Linta and Toastmaster Antu Dominic from Kerala Toastmasters. I regret we couldn't do it at the beginning. Please raise your hand on screen so everybody knows where you are. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Go ahead, Winston.
Okay, our next speaker is Praveen Badiger. As he said, he is a very enthusiastic Toastmaster. From duty, he has directly come here. Hope you had enough sleep, Praveen. and you're fresh now. Your evaluator is Antu Dominic, who will read the objectives of the speech. Over to you, Antu.
Thank you, Toastmasters for the day. DTM Winston. Toastmasters. Winston. All right. Sorry for the mistake.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Toastmasters, good morning. My speaker, Toastmaster Praveen, is attempting the project from Pathways Level 5, High Performance Leadership, and he's doing the first speech of that. The purpose of this speech is for the member to apply his or her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. The purpose of this speech, the first speech, is for the member to introduce his plan and vision. Best wishes to the speaker, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
You're muted, Winston.
Thank you, Toastmaster Antu, for giving the objectives of the speech. Now I call upon Toastmaster Praveen. The title of his speech is, "It's the next level for me." It is the next level for me. Over to Toastmaster Praveen.
The way I worked.
Praveen, sorry, 1 minute. It is 5 to 7 minutes, your speech?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Lizelle, it's 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, I'll start now.
Yeah.
The way I worked to vanquish and to come out of my comfort zone truly helped with Toastmasters. Good morning, my dear Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Happy Deepavali for all of you. I joined Toastmasters and started my journey. Usually, I upload Toastmasters occasions to my WhatsApp status and to all other social media so that all my contacts can see, including my department, the beautiful girls and dynamic Toastmasters in our club. As days rolled on, I have become the talk of my institution. My staff kept talking like, nowadays, Praveen is active in some institution. Praveen, what is that called? Can we also join? What is the fee? What are the criteria? My staff would want to know the intangible Toastmasters. And feeling immensely happy, I explained to them what Toastmaster is all about. Unfortunately, nobody joined after me, since the language is basically English. I encouraged a couple of them, even though it wouldn't work. When I was a teacher, my students would say to me that, "Sir, if you go and start your duty in your department, do teach English to your prison inmates." So it was always running around my mind. One fine day, our beloved DTM said on our own club WhatsApp group, that is MTM Adda, something regarding the speechcraft session for the prison inmates, highlighting my name because I am working as a policeman in prison and correctional services. I was astonished. Later, we had a discussion. We are all set to start the speechcraft for Mangalore prison inmates. Here, my actual duty started. I went on approaching the jailbirds, explaining what Toastmaster is, what speechcraft is, saying that it is all about public speaking. You people are going to learn public speaking, then leadership quality and communication skill. They started asking the questions like, "Sir, what is it called? Toastmasters? Yeah. What does it mainly stand for? Public speaking. Are those people doing any favors regarding our bail? Or are they offering any snacks or sweets to eat? Or are they providing any clothes to wear? Oh my God. I was blowing through it. I was thrown such type of questions. And even though I started convincing them, initially, nobody responded. At that time, the police in me thought like, let me take a stick and beat them black and blue. But a Toastmaster in me, as Toastmaster Yvonil said, I am the student of communication. I am not supposed to do like that. Let me handle it carefully. If we need something, we Google and get the information. If we want something, if MTM Club needs something, what do we do? Anyone? Please answer. If MTM needs something, exactly. I also did the same thing. I consulted MN because he is the coordinator of this speech craft session. He told, no matter, Praveen, if they want to have the snacks, we will definitely offer them. I will talk to the president. The very next day, with this confidence, I went and started approaching each one of the jailbirds. And I selected a couple of them, brought them, produced them before the superintendent of Mangalore prison, who is the backbone for this speechcraft session. When he called them, not only did they agree, they prompted other inmates also. Now, the river is ready. The canoe is also ready. We want sailors. I consulted MN again. He created a WhatsApp group and go on adding various Toastmasters from various clubs. So by this, he unburdened my job. Now, as the stage or as the world is facing COVID-19 pandemic, neither NGOs nor any Toastmasters are allowed into the prison because this is the judicial custody. We must be extra careful regarding the prison inmates. We thought of conducting hybrid meetings, and I selected the video conference room for this purpose. And for your information, a couple of Toastmasters have witnessed this. The distance between the main prison and the video conference room is for about 200 meters. The transition of the inmates from the main prison to the video conference room has now become the challenging task because a plethora of opportunities are there to escape and huge possibilities there to do all illegitimate actions. But now I can manage this aspect also. Dear Toastmasters, the forum is ready. The speech crafters are also ready. And the sailors are also ready. I thought this session must not be a blind, like a blind leading the blind. I have a good support of Toastmasters from various clubs, so I'm happy. So far, number of Toastmasters have conducted and completed speechcraft sessions, youth leadership sessions in various colleges, schools, institutions. But for me, apart from my duty, joining the Toastmaster is first level and conducting the speechcraft sessions like this is the next level. So for me, this is the next level. Thank you. Back to you, DTM Winston.
Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen, for your nice speech and giving the insight of the prison, which most of us do not know what's happening in there. And thank you for the initiative for starting this speechcraft. Okay. In preparation of Diwali, people clean up their houses and decorate their houses, lighting diyas and rangoli and worshipping Goddess Lakshmi for prosperity and for wealth. They light firecrackers, distribute gifts and sweets to the family and friends. Preparation and distribution of sweets is a major part of the celebration. It shows sharing of love and concern to each other. It's very important to know that even at Wagah border, that is the border between India and Pakistan, which is a very nice sight to see. I have been there some years before. Wagah border, the Pakistani soldiers and Indian soldiers distribute sweets to the Pakistani soldiers. Actually, they are not allowed to go there, but especially for on this occasion, Diwali, they go there and distribute sweets to the Pakistani soldiers, which is a real sign of love for our neighbor. Okay, our next speaker is Linta Joy, and evaluator is Della. Can Della read the objectives of the speech, please?
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Linta is on her level 5, project 1 of presentation mastery, and the purpose of her speech is for the member to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Timer, please note that her speech will be for 18 to 22 minutes. 18 to 22 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Linta. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Excuse me, Della.
Yes.
On what time I will be showing the cards?
18, you can show the green card. 19, I think you can show the yellow, and 22, you can show the red.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Linta Joy will speak on Let's Talk Strategy. Let's talk strategy. Over to Linta Joy.
A very pleasant good evening, Toastmasters from MTM. A quick introduction. I'm Linta Joly. I'm an engineer by profession and a Toastmaster, part of Kerala Toastmasters Club since November 2020. Well, that's all about me in a nutshell. I joined this meeting sharp at 7:10 and I saw a couple of smiling faces. But the moment Toastmaster Della told the speech objectives, what I saw was a set of puzzled faces, wrinkled foreheads. I see there can be two reasons. One, you're quite amazed by the fact that we are going to talk something exciting or something about strategy. Two, you were quite vanquished by the fact that this lady here is going to while away 20 minutes of our Saturday morning. Good morning once again, Toastmasters. Let's begin with a quick question. Since only few of you are on your videos, the question is, how many of you have created a plan for this weekend? Quickly give me a raise of hands or an emoticon, anything would do. None of you have plans for weekend? Wow, great. I see some hands up. Well, Toastmaster Neil has not yet made a plan for weekend, but I hope you have time to make up some plans with your family or friends. Making plans is something that we humans do very frequently. But a weekend plan is something that probably will affect us, our family, maybe our friends. But think about it in a longer term. Would our weekend plan affect probably, would we think of it probably the next week or next month? No, it's something that's not affecting us in a longer term. But when we are in a corporate world, when we are in a company, when we have a lot of customers, or probably when we have a lot of employees, or there are a lot of people around us, the decisions we make can have impacts even in future. That is why strategy, which I call as the art of war, if you ask me why, I'll give you the answer towards the end, is turning to be very important. It is because of this importance that strategy has been gaining throughout these years that there is something called as strategic management, which has now turned to be an area of study and it's turning to be a global strategy throughout this world. If you ask me, even in University of Leeds, you have a master's program called strategic management. That's why strategic management is gaining its importance and is turning to be a global strategy. Let's dive in. When I say strategic management, definitely the first question that comes into your mind is, what is strategic management? Can I have someone from the audience volunteering to read out what is strategic management? Anyone quickly unmute and read out what is strategic management? Anyone? Some volunteers around there?
Strategic management is ongoing planning, monitoring, and analysis and assessment of all necessities an organization or individual needs to meet goals and objectives of the organization.
Thank you. Right. Thank you, timer. That was in fact multitasking. You were ready to read the paragraph at the same time you were looking time. So can I have another volunteer to just explain what you have understood from what is strategic management? Anyone? Quick volunteers, please. You might be wondering, this lady is now trying to make her job easy. She asked one to call up and read the slides, another to explain. I have no job left here. So anyone who understood what is strategic management? Or maybe can we go forward? So strategic management is when you have something to achieve. You just not make a plan so that you achieve that objective, but you think over it again and again. Let me give you an example. Imagine Toastmaster Sunita, I hope she does one day, invites me to an in-person meeting in Mangalore Toastmasters Club. So I have to reach all the way from Kerala to Mangalore, and I think about it. Now, there are different ways in which I can reach the Mangalore Toastmasters Club. I think about the various possibilities. I can go by car. It's convenient. I have a flexible schedule. At the same time, I think about the petrol prices, and then I decide, no, maybe not now. Then I have another option of train. It's convenient, but in this pandemic situation, going by train, a lot of people traveling, would it be advisable? I think about option B, maybe a flight. It can be economic if I book it pre-hand. Also, if ideally convenient, flexible, all these advantages would be there if I go with flight. So I decide that I go by flight. But once I reach, in order to reach the club, I might have to go for plan A. That is, I have to rent out a car. So in fact, not just creating a plan from point A to point B, I'm in fact considering it as a race. You have the starting point, you have the finishing line, and you have laps. And between these laps, you try creating plans. This is strategic management. When we talk about bigger terms, strategic management, we might be wondering, what is strategy? If you have some answer for this question, quickly put out into the chat box, what is strategy? When I asked this question, strategy, all of you would have Googled it out. So let's not wait for you to Google it out. I have the answer already. What is strategy? Google says strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or an overall aim. So Google or Sundar Pichai considers strategy as a plan. Fine. Coming to the second definition, the art of planning and directing overall military operations and movements in war or battle. Strategic management or strategy is in fact the art of war. I told you I'll come to it towards the end. But however, no matter whatever research papers you consider, strategy is often considered just as a plan. But it's much more than that. Strategy, it might be a simple word which we often use, but it has a lot of dimensions to it. That's why McKinsey themselves have defined strategy using the 5 P's. Toastmasters, 5 P's of strategy. The first P, P for plan. That is, you have a starting point, you have a finishing line, you plan how you can go about it. In fact, you think before the action, during the plan of action, and even after the action. Let me give an example. If you have noticed the coins that the Indian government or the RBI issues, initially the size of the 1 rupee coin was big, it became small and smaller. The size of the coins were decreasing throughout the timeline. Can you think about it? This is because of a simple strategy that the economic value of the coin should be greater than the metallic value. Did I make it confusing? To make it simpler, if I spend 3 or the government spends 3 rupees to manufacture a 1 rupee coin, what would brilliant citizens like me do? We would melt the coin, make 3 rupee out of that 1 rupee coin and become a billionaire. That's why government came up with this strategy. But when I say too much about strategy, you might be thinking, oh, if I have something to achieve, I'd make a strategy. I'm the best. Not always. Strategies, or when you're making plans, you should make sure that you cover all test cases. An example on grounds of same would be Tughlaq. Tughlaq was an emperor back in Mughal dynasty. He made up so much strategies that people around him called him as the mad king, or his tenure or his reign was called as the utter failure. Why? Coming back to this coin case scenario, Tughlaq made a very important strategy. He found out that his kingdom was spending too much making the currency, so he himself decided, we'll use the cheapest metal, copper, to make up coins. What happened? There were brilliant citizens back then. They used the cheapest metal, copper, to make currencies of their own. Tughlaq was disappointed. He came up with a new strategy. If people are making money of their own, let me build coins with gold. What did brilliant people do? They melted this coin, took gold and sell it to other countries so that they make more money. So remember, making a strategy is always not the game. Making the best strategy is part of the game. Moving on to the next P, P for ploy. When I make a strategy, I should also be aware that there are a lot of people around me, my competitors, if I would call it right. We should understand that even they will create a strategy. So what should be my point? I should bring up a strategy which would in fact help me give a head start. For instance, Meta, or back then our own Facebook, was not the first social media platform that came into being. It had its own competitors. But right now, Facebook has so much users that it's turning to be the most used social media platform. Back when Facebook was introduced, there was Friendster, which had around 3 million users, and even Google was ready to buy that site for $50 million, but they were not ready to sell it, which is another part. Friendster was there. There was a lot of many other social media platforms. And these social media platforms was there when Facebook came into being. And it was in such situation that Facebook decided to come up with a twist. They decided that the connections that we make in social media be in such a way that there's a personal tinge to it. In Friendster, people just connect and you're anonymous. But in Facebook, you have an identity. And it's this identity that took Facebook to places. So P as a ploy. Next, you need to understand your position, P for position. That is where Apple plays its role. Apple knows it's a premium company. It comes up with things which it regards as the best. Apple will come up with a product only if it thinks it's the best. That's why P, or strategy as a position, plays importance. If you've noticed, if you have an iPad, Apple has not provided an inbuilt calculator. Wondering why? It's because with big screens, they felt that the calculator does not look good and it's not the best. Thus, they decided not to have it in iPads. That's Apple's strategy. So people have a confidence. If Apple is selling me something, they would just sell me the best. P as pattern. To understand this, we all have Netflix subscriptions. Netflix is in fact the king of strategies. They in fact have subscriptions which are of very highly, or they're highly priced. Now what they did was they bring up good shows, and what they do is at the same time, as if they did not know anything, they'll come up with offers for subscription. Probably right recently they have subscriptions for 5 rupees per month, and people will buy their subscriptions. Right now, according to the RBI regulations, it's all auto pay. So once you get this free trial, what happens is automatically when they come up with new shows, you are in fact in that rat trap and you are into a Netflix subscription. So understanding what people need and going about it is the next P for strategy. The last P, perspective. Each person has different needs and different perspectives or different outlook. If we are able to understand it and make a strategy, that would help us. So these are the 5 P's of strategy. I'm pretty sure now, next time you see this word strategy, you will not just, oh, silly word. You, in fact, will think about the 5 P's of strategy. If so, I have done my job well. Is this a new concept? This was where I was talking about the art of war. So back, probably since we have talked about Tughlaq and the empire, back we know that there were wars. Now what happens in a war? You have 2 teams just fighting against each other. Usually in a war, there was a pattern in which you'll align the soldiers. It's simple. You'll have the most strongest, the powerful men called the front line. You have the defenders in the middle, and you have the back line, which is often a little weak soldiers at the back line. During this war, the other side decided to come up with a strategy. It's called the art of war. They decided to move or shift these positioning. That is, to move the backline warriors to front, the defenders and the front line towards the back. That is, this team is having the stronger men towards the end. The war started. When the stronger men from the other team came and they battled against the bottom line warriors, they became weak. But definitely, this bottom line warriors were not able to attack or counterpart these strong warriors. But however, as these strong men approached and passed the defenders and reached the bottom or the front line workers, sorry, the warriors who were waiting at the end, these men were full of energy and full on count, while they have lost count. These men were able to attack all the front warriors, cross the defenders, cross the bottom line workers because they were more powerful, and conquer the kingdom. This was back in 1940s where the first type of strategy was made. And this turns to be an important case study even today when people think about strategic management. Strategic thinking and strategic planning. These are not as simple as it sounds, but once you understand them and you make up a strategy, you are all good to go. Remember the first question I asked you, do you have a plan for weekend? It might be a silly question, but think about it. Make up a strategy, enjoy your weekend so that when it's Monday and after a long weekend, you will not regret. A humble request to Toastmaster Neil, who has not yet started thinking about weekend. Sir or Neil, come on, let's plan your weekend. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Linta Joy. It was a nice speech, well prepared and well researched. You told us about the 4 P's, but when you have this 5 P's, when you have the 5 P's, I would say do not have that 1 P which I'm going to have, that is, do not procrastinate. Do not postpone your plans. Go ahead and activate your plans. Okay, thank you very much. Now, some of the faithful celebrate Diwali, like Jains observe Diwali, which marks the final liberation of Mahavir. Sikh people celebrate, not Sikh people, SIKHS, celebrate Bandi Chor Divas to mark the release of Guru Harbinder from Mughal prison at Gwalior Fort. And the Buddhists celebrate and worship Lakshmi. In Bengal and Bangladesh, they worship goddess Kali. Now, a small thing about economics of the economic angle of Diwali. Major shopping are done comparable to the Christmas and New Year celebration. As per research, I read that in 2013, about 25 billion rupees, that is US dollars, 330 million US dollars were spent on celebrating, that is buying confectionery gifts and for fireworks. And you know, in 2017, the estimate has gone up much more. And I believe they spent 300 billion rupees, that is $4 billion during Diwali celebration. According to research, each household spends about 5,000 to 10,000 rupees for celebrating Diwali. I'm sure economically well-to-do people will share their food, gifts with financially backward people, which is the real spirit of sharing of Diwali. Now, friends, as I said, Diwali is a festival of lights. 1 minute, give me a minute.
Till Winston comes back, and I request all of you to switch on your video so we can take a group photograph after this.
I brought some diyas lit as festival of lights. Of course, I can't put more of them.
Yeah,
but
Winston,
hope you
please
can
hold
see
it.
them.
Winston, please hold it. We'll take a photograph like this. Everyone, please switch on your videos. That's wonderful. Please switch on your videos. Jyoti, Vishnu, our guest, Fiona, Gladys. Give me those hearts. Give me those smiles. Okay, are we ready? Ranjani, Prana, our guest Vishnu, Gladys, please switch on, I'm waiting. And Praveen, if you can please come on screen. Yes, all right, we're ready to go. One more. Thank you, and thank you, Winston.
Happy Diwali for all of you.
Happy
once again.
Diwali, thank you. And also a quick welcome to our guest Vishnu. We'll meet him later once the meeting is over.
Okay. Now we have finished our speeches. Now I call upon the our general evaluator to, since we don't have table topics today, I call upon the general evaluator, I think it is Neil, to take over and do the evaluation and the other duties. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Winston. Before that, if the timer can give, before I start with my evaluation, if the timer can give the time spent for each speaker, so we can proceed for the voting section, that'd be great. So Lizelle, if you can.
So time taken by Fiona is 5 minutes. Her speech requirement time was 5 to 7 minutes. Time taken by Toastmaster Praveen is 7 minutes 21 seconds, and his requirement time was 5 to 7 minutes. And the time taken by Linta Joly is 16 minutes and 1 second, and her speech requirement time was 18 to 22 minutes. Thank you.
So those eligible for voting are Fiona and Praveen, is that correct?
I think all are eligible for voting. We will
all eligible?
Yes,
okay.
Let's go ahead.
Okay, understood. Right. So yes, now I will start with my evaluation. So I'll start today. The meeting started a couple of minutes late. This is very consistent with how Mangalore Toastmasters meeting starts. I have myself to blame also. When I joined at 7:16, so the first person to be chastised for this, it should be me, the general evaluator. But one thing that I've always noticed is our meetings start very, very consistently on time, even if it is at 7:17.
Neil, sorry to interrupt. The evaluators?
Yes, I will be handing it over to them, right? Once I finish my thing. I will go to that. Yeah. So I would then move on to Radha section. Of course, one thing that was also very consistent was technical difficulties. Everybody had them, myself included. There are technical difficulties, but Radha had given a very, very strong start to the meeting. Moving on to Toastmaster Sunita, as always, Toastmaster Sunita is a very good storyteller and has highlighted the value of light in one's life, and then moved on to introducing the distinguished Toastmaster Winston. Distinguished Toastmaster Winston has been pivotal in my Toastmasters journey. He introduced me to Toastmasters, and as always, he has shown us how Toastmasters has, with all that he has learned, he was able to help us understand the history of Diwali and brought us into the festive mood with a wonderful Tulu song also played by Yvonil, which really brought us into that festive spirit. Over to the prepared speeches. I would now hand it over to the first evaluator, Toastmaster Seema, to evaluate the first speech.
Well, this is not related to evaluation, but Neil, even I am late today. My husband left and went directly because it's too late. He couldn't wait. So I have to go now all alone. I don't know. I will be late to work also. Doesn't matter. Anyhow, let me start with the evaluation now. Fiona, when I heard your title, will you say no again? I thought your project is related to some occasion where you said no, and then you turned it to, reversed it and said, yes, I will. But the introduction of your sweet speech with that innocent smile that you are giving now, and the punch on that 3 seconds golden rule with the quote added to it, took us to another planet altogether. The humorous way with which you connected this rule to your mom, who has become very popular in our club now, exactly like my husband, and then to your HPL project, the club collaboration program. Wow, what a stupendous content construction ability manifested over there. The clarity of words was exemplary. And that beautiful and smooth transition to that analogy of, we remember saying no, as you said to your mom, for the roles, and then at the end, unknowingly motivating us to say yes to the roles. All this conveyed to beautiful gestures, engaged us, the audience, completely to in your speech. Your eye contact conveyed all the hidden emotions. Though it was the last minute preparation, I know because of the request of the president, you have vanquished the diffidence that you had earlier and kept us, the listeners, on track throughout. If I have to suggest some improvement, then it will be that you too will have to pause for at least 3 seconds at the end of every sentence and vary the tone of your voice from high to low and vice versa wherever needed in the content. Overall, it was a mind-boggling speech, and wish you, Fiona, all the best on behalf of all the MTMers in your project. May you succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Seema, for that wonderful evaluation. Next, moving on to the next evaluation is Toastmaster Antu Dominic, who joined us from Toastmaster Kerala Toastmasters. Over to you, Toastmaster Antu Dominic.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmasters and guests, please join me to congratulate Toastmaster Praveen for that awesome speech. I was really blown away. The title of the speech, Next Level for Me, that was really good, and that created some suspense, and it was connected to the speech. The opening was also good. We wanted to come out of the comfort zone. Talking about the body of a speech, he shared his experience in the prison and he became the talk of the institution. Normally we say talk of the town, but he became the talk of the institution because of Toastmasters. And it is amazing to note that he did a speech club in prison. You know, it's very difficult to organize a speech club. Not only that he organized it, but he did it in a prison where it is really difficult to do that. Real good leadership skill. Toastmaster Praveen is a very good leader and he's got very good goals and everything is evident from the project he has done. His language was good. He used a lot of rhetoric devices and he concluded in a very nice way. Talking about the delivery side, he has got excellent confidence and vocal clarity. And the vocal variety, he used appropriate stress and pause, of course. But regarding the pitch variation, I thought he could improve on that. Maybe you could add some dialogue or emotion. It's very easy to speak because he was dealing with prison. You could add any dialogue or some emotion so that the pitch variation would be better. Then eye contact was good. And of course the gestures, he used very good gestures, which was at least hand gestures. And expressions were also good. Since he had used the close-up, we could see his facial expressions. Toastmaster Praveen, you excel at the speech organization, the transition, your confidence and vocal clarity. A couple of points for improvement from my part. I thought you could do the speech in a standing position. You're doing the level 5 speech. You are a very confident speaker. Then standing position is not a problem for you at all. I don't know whether you have some technical issues for that. If not, you could do it in a standing position so that your gestures would have been visible much more than what you've done today. And of course, you could do a little more stage movement also. That will definitely add some more punch to the speech, or it will be more attractive. Overall, the speech was super. You have met your speech objective. Congratulations once again. You can go ahead with your next speech. Best wishes for that. Thank you all, and back to you, the general manager.
Thank you, Toastmaster and Toastmaster Antu. Really a great evaluation. Next, moving on to our third speaker, Toastmaster Linta Joly. Evaluating her would be Toastmaster Della. I would like to invite Della to give her evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Neil. Congratulations, Toastmaster Linta, on completing your level 5 project 1 speech. And let's talk strategy. Was filled with details and information on how to strategize even our weekend. So along with evaluating your speech, I have learned on how I can strategize my days. And as my husband keeps saying that I have time and I keep arguing I don't have time, I think I should take some tips from you, and whatever I've learned from your speech today, I will be definitely using those strategies, those perspectives on how I can improve my days. Your opening was excellent. With a small introduction about yourself, you were able to connect with the audience and make sure that you had everyone's attention at the beginning. There was humor in your speech, which also added as a plus point. You interacted with the audience and asked them questions. And along with that, you were able to acknowledge when they responded, which some of us have to work on. So I feel like I need some tips from you to get my students to respond in an online class, because they do not respond. They're not motivated to respond. You are able to put across what strategy is and what we must make note of in a very simple and understandable manner. And you brought in references, so it looked like you had done a lot of research. And I feel like research is a very strong point, And we were able to relate to the references that you mentioned, like Apple, Facebook, Netflix, and even Tughlaq. So I went back to my history days. Research, like I said, was a strong point, and you delivered a detailed speech within a brief manner. It didn't feel like your speech was longer than usual. It didn't feel like the 18 minutes to 22 minutes, but I'll come back to the timing later. You were comfortable with the audience, and I felt you were a member of Mangalore Toastmasters and not a member of Kerala Toastmasters, with the way you carried yourself in the meeting and in the speech. There was good clarity and a lot of vocal variety, and you made sure that you had eye contact with every member and connected by calling their names out. So it was really good. You had gestures and speech content was well connected with the audience. There's only one feedback that I would like to give you. When you have to change your slides, maybe you could use a pointer, or if someone is around at home, maybe they could change the slides for you, because then your eye keeps going back to the keyboard and you have to keep changing it. So that's one thing that maybe you could work on for your next speech. Although the purpose of the speech was 18 minutes, minimum 18 minutes, you were able to deliver it for 16 minutes, which is commendable, but maybe next time start working on the timing of your speech. Stick to the timing so that at least you reach the minimum time. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Linta, and all the best for your future speeches.
Thank you so much, Master Della, and thank you for your speech, Linda. So finally, if Lizelle, you can show the time taken for each evaluation, and then I'll move on to the R counter and grammarian report.
Lizelle.
Yeah. Lizelle, you can show the time. Can you please show the time? Thank you. So all are eligible. The document has been placed in the chat box. Please vote for the best evaluator.
Could I request everyone to vote for the best speaker also? We have very few responses. Both the links are in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster. Yeah. So moving on, I would like to invite Toastmaster Yvonil to present the counter report.
Yeah, thank you, Neil. I'm audible, right? Just to confirm.
Yes, you're audible.
What's the little things? A small leak will sink a great ship. This is what Benjamin Franklin said. And this doesn't really apply to the R counter report. But Yvonil Dsouza on the 6th of November 2021 said, be conscious about the R's. That could be an invisible speed breaker to your progress. Now, I'm being very conscious that I'm not supposed to use any R's, fillers, and I've requested Toastmaster Sukanya to do the R counters report for me. And I'll get to the reason later as to why I'm doing this exercise. A quick and a short report, nothing much to say. A few people, Princita, you had 1 hour. Toastmaster Winston, you had 4 hours. Toastmaster Fiona and Toastmaster Praveen, you all have vanquished the hours at all. Something good. We did not really get to hear any of these filler words. Linta, Joly, though it was a long speech, almost 18 minutes, you just had only 2 hours. This is a great achievement. But when it came to a few repeats, you repeated corporate world company. It basically means the same. That's what your intention was. Thank you, and thank you, timer. Apple will come with a product if it's the best. I'm not sure if you were trying to underscore, but I felt it was a repeat, and the word backline. Della, you had 1 hour. Neil, you had 9 hours. Neil, I think you can be more conscious, and I'm sure it's very easy for you to cut down on your hours. Lizelle, you had 2, and Toastmaster Seema, you had 2. Toastmaster and to Dominic, you did not have any R's. And a few filler words that I came across are this thing, and yeah, so that's all. So the reason I'm doing this exercise is I've been very conscious whether I'm saying R's. I said one. This is something which is ignored, the R counters report. Even I do that, just an R counters report, right? But I think it is one of the most important things, and it is a kind of a speed breaker to our progress. So something this is ignored, we do not really come up with solutions. So I would like to leave the floor open, and if at all you all have any concrete solutions as to how we can reduce our R's, please feel free to express. Any quick solutions, even a quick fix will work. The floor is open. Yes. Practice. So any concrete, yeah, could you please elaborate, Praveen, on that?
No, as far as the prepared speech concerned, we must practice. If we practice, there will not be any R's, any filler words.
True. Okay. What about evaluation? What's your opinion? Because evaluation, the Toastmaster, TMOD, we cannot really have a proper script. At that point of time, how exactly can we reduce the R's or be more conscious about it? I know it's easy to say be conscious, but how can we be conscious? Sure. Yes.
Can I go?
Yes, yes.
I think if we pace ourselves, right, like if we start speaking slowly, I think that might help us. Like if I start speaking fast, then I'll make a lot of mistakes. Like you get it, right? So if we pace ourselves, I think that can serve the purpose.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Sean. That's what I'm trying to do today. I'm just being conscious and trying to speak as slow as possible. Okay, one more. Any other Toastmaster, could you please share your idea or thoughts on how to be conscious about or how to reduce R's?
We should avoid mic fright.
We should avoid
mic fright, stage fright.
Okay, okay. Could you please elaborate a little on that?
No, if we are okay with our mic and stage, we can avoid any filler words.
Okay, okay. Sure, yeah. Thank you, Praveen. And Toastmaster Supanya, could you please give a short report? Because I have pointed out, so please point out so that I learn about my mistakes as well.
Yeah, Yvonil, you had 3 R's.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll try to reduce it to 2 the next time. Yes, over to the general evaluator, Toastmaster meeting.
Thank you, Yvonil, for doing 3 things. One is providing the R counter report. Next is R countering the R counter. And third is for these excellent ideas on how to improve and reduce the R counter. Yeah, as you said, be conscious. Now I'm trying to be conscious. So thank you very much, Toastmaster Yvonil. Next, over to our grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Princita, to give her report. Over to you, Toastmaster Princita.
Good morning, everyone. So 5 people used the word for the day. There were Neil, Linta, Toastmaster Seema, Praveen, and Yvonil. Great going, guys. Some good usages today were Toastmaster Fiona said hole in the ground, delegate work, execute successfully, tested the waters, etch in your memory. Toastmaster Praveen also said immensely happy, intangible, astonished, black and blue, student of communication, illegitimate. Toastmaster Linta said wrinkled foreheads, art of war, lot of dimensions, metallic value, utter failure, part of the game, head start, conquer the kingdom. Great usages, everyone. Toastmaster Seema also said another planet altogether, stupendous, manifested, exemplary, beautiful gestures, mind-boggling. Toastmaster Antu Dominic said blown away, talk of the institution, leadership skills, rhetoric devices, vocal variety. Toastmaster Della said improve my days, connect with the audience, strong point, commendable. And Toastmaster Yvonil just said invisible speed breaker. So these are all great usages, I thought. There were some mistakes, very few. But like Toastmaster Yvonil said, they act as invisible speed breakers. So let's just go through them. Someone said Happy Diwali for you. It's better to say Happy Diwali to you, especially now that we're wishing everyone. Also, instead of saying talking like, maybe you could say saying instead. It's just simpler and it sounds better and is proper. The proper pronunciation is wear, like when you're saying wearing clothes, it's not wear clothes. Another thing was it's beforehand, not pre-hand. Yeah, another mistake I noticed was just that when you're speaking about countable nouns like problems, users, and so on, the correct way to say it is many problems or many users, not much problems or much users. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. Have a good day, everyone. Over to the general evaluator, Neil.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Princita. An excellent report. Let's use this grammar, these suggestions to improve how we speak and what we speak. So overall, my final closing comments for today's meeting, an excellent meeting, really true to the spirit of Diwali. And, I'm hoping that in the next 2 days, we continue to enjoy our Diwali. It's a long weekend. Let's plan it out. I will take Toastmaster Linta's suggestion of having a plan rather than just sleeping around and playing video games. But overall, also, please be safe. Please do not overdo the bursting of crackers. I live in Delhi, and as you've seen in the news, the air quality index has gone up to an unprecedented 500 as compared to a normal time of 50, right? So please be safe, everyone. Over to the president for final closing.
Over to the Toastmaster of the day first, I think.
Okay.
Sorry. Toastmaster of the day.
Okay. Thank you, Neil, and your team for the nice evaluation. It made the meeting really interesting. Now I hand over the proceedings to our president, Toastmaster Sunita Pereira. Over to you, Sunita.
Thank you, Winston. Could I request you all now to switch on your videos, since we are on gallery viewer and we're still recording. Before we go forward with the last part of the meeting, I'd like to request our guest, Vishnu, to introduce himself. Vishnu, are you there? Could you just introduce yourself briefly to the members? You're muted, Vishnu.
Oh, sorry for that. Hello, everyone. Very good morning to you all. I'm Vishnu, and I actually work in Accenture, and I've been working for past 6 months. So I was very curious about communication, and also I want to learn public speaking and interpersonal communication. So yeah, excited to be here, and I'm learning a lot of things about you guys. So yeah, thank you, everyone.
Nice to have you, Vishnu. Hope you will come back again and join us.
Yeah.
Right. We also have Toastmaster Srivatsa from Sayadri Club. Srivatsa, would you like to just say a few words? Yeah, go ahead. You can meet the members and say hello. Introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Happy Deepavali. And I'm very happy that I attended this meeting, but I was late. Sorry for that. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Srivatsa. Srivatsa is the president of Sayadri Club, which we are working with. Welcome, Srivatsa. Right. I'll go ahead with the results first before I make announcements. Please give me a minute so I can share screen. Right. As you can see. Right. So the Best Speaker Award goes to Toastmaster Linta Joly. I think Toastmaster Linta, you made an impression of on all of us. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The Best Evaluator Award, we have a tie between Toastmaster Della, Cordeiro, Congratulations. And Toastmaster Seema Sequeira. Congratulations. And the Best Role Taker Award, which comes from the President and the board, goes to DTM Winston for that beautiful Deepavali meeting, and especially the lamps, and also to Toastmaster Yvonil for waking up everyone with his unusual approach. Thank you all. So on that note, I thank you all for joining this Deepavali meeting. I had braced myself for few members, almost just the role takers, but I see we have a good number at 22. So I hope all of you had a really good time, and I will stop recording.